Good evening, Namaste, and welcome to Genius Lakshya, which is a very unique platform for all the competitive examinations of our country. So, dear students, you are welcome once again. And today we are going to discuss one of the most important topics from the Indian polity, that is on language. You know that India is rich in language. India is very rich in language. We have many hundreds of languages with six classical languages. So, in order to protect and promote the languages in our country, especially minority, the language in less number, it is very important that government should play an important role to protect, to promote the language in minority. Otherwise, this language will die one day and we will lose many languages in this process. Okay, so today we will see what are the provisions for the preservation, conservation, and protection and safeguard of the languages in our country. We will see it today. Very important to know, right? So today's topic is on language and minority language. So I'm sharing the first slide of my presentation. If I am audible and visible, let me know soon. Then we'll go ahead. Okay, so the topic is Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities. Okay, the topic is on linguistic minorities. It means the language spoken by substantially less number of speakers is linguistic minorities in our country. We'll understand, we'll know what kind of provisions are there to protect this linguistic in our country. Whether I am visible and audible, let me know first. Okay, so yeah, let's start then. Constitutional provisions regarding linguistic minorities. What provisions are there for the conservation, for the development, for the protection of linguistic minorities in our country? Originally, fundamentally, our Indian Constitution did not make any provision. Means initially we had no provision with respect to the special officer for linguistic minorities. Initially, in the beginning of the Constitution of India, we did not have provision of special officer for linguistic minorities in our country. Later on, gradually, in due course of time, the States Reorganization Commission SRC from 1953 to 55 made recommendation in this regard. Accordingly, the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1956. This act inserted, added, incorporated a new article, that is 350B, in part 17th of the Constitution of India. This article contains many provisions. We will see one by one. This article says that there should be a special officer for the linguistic minorities. And that special officer for linguistic minorities is to be appointed by the President of India. So basically, according to the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1956, a new article was added. That is Article 350B. And this article says that there should be a special officer for promotion and protection of linguistic minorities. And that special officer will be appointed by the President of India. It would be the duty of the special officer. The function of the special officer is to investigate, is to inquire all matters relating to the safeguard or protection provided for linguistic minorities under the Constitution. So, the officer will investigate, will inquire all the matters relating to the protection of the linguistic minorities under the Constitution of India. Also, the special officer for linguistic minorities would report to the President of India upon those matters at such intervals as the President may direct. Whenever President asks for any matter, then the special officer for minorities would report to the President of India. Again, the President should also place all such matters before each house of the parliament and sent to the government of the state concerned. You are very much aware of this provision. You are aware of the reports because we have already discussed annual reports of various commissions. Also, you are aware of the fact that the report is submitted to the President of India. Also, you are aware that the President places the report before the Parliament of India, and the President also forwards the report to the states concerned. You are already aware of this fact as we have already discussed this process in the previous presentations. Means there is no clear indication or mention in the constitution regarding the qualification of the special officer, regarding the tenure or duration of the special officer, regarding the salaries of the special officer, also allowances, the condition of service, and how the officer will be removed from his office. All these matters are not mentioned in the Constitution of India. Now we will understand the Commission for Linguistic Minorities. In pursuance of the provision of Article 350B of the Constitution, the office of the Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities was created in 1957, and this special officer for the linguistic minority is designated, has been given the designation or the position as the Commissioner for Linguistic Minorities. The Commissioner means the Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities is otherwise known as Commissioner, has his headquarters at Allahabad in the state of Uttar Pradesh in India, and the Commissioner has 3 regional offices at Belgaum. One regional office is located in Belgaum in Karnataka state. Second regional office for the linguistic minorities is located in Chennai in the state of Tamil Nadu. And third linguistic minorities regional office is located in West Bengal. So these are three regional offices, and each is headed by an assistant commissioner. Means each regional office means we have three regional offices. So three regional offices has three assistant commissioner. The commissioner is assisted at the headquarters by deputy commissioners and an assistant commissioner. So these are the composition of linguistic minorities in our country. The commissioner maintains liaison with all the state governments and all the union territories. So the commissioner maintains relationship with all the states of our country and all the union territories through a nodal officer appointed by them. At the central level, the commissioner falls under the Ministry of Minority Affairs. So this commissioner for linguistic minorities comes under the central government, and that is the Ministry of Minority Affairs. Hence, the commissioner submits annual report every year or other reports to the President of India through the Union Minority Affairs Minister. So we discussed that the commissioner is the liaising officer. He maintains connections with all the states, administrative connections, and all the union territories through a nodal officers appointed by them. Also, we came to know that the central level Ministry of Minority Affairs controls this linguistic minorities. Also, the commissioner prepares a report and submits the report every year to the President of India through Union Minority Affairs Minister. Now we will discuss the role of the commissioner. The commissioner takes up all the matters pertaining to the grievances arising out of non-implementation of the constitutional and nationally agreed scheme of safeguards provided to linguistic minorities that come to its knowledge by linguistic minority individuals, groups, associations, organizations at the highest political, administrative level of the state government and union territories administration, and recommends remedial action to be taken. In short, the commissioner is responsible to protect and promote this community, this linguistic minorities community. Whenever he gets any complaint from individual or group or association or organization, then it takes care of it. Also, the commission is there to promote and preserve linguistic minority groups. The Ministry of Minority Affairs has requested the state governments and the union territories to give wide publicity to the constitutional safeguards provided to linguistic minorities to take necessary administrative measures. Repeatedly, it is being emphasized that the objective of this officer is to promote the language, minority language, and to preserve the minority language in our country. We know that minority language is a language which is spoken by a very substantially less number of people. For that, we have Ministry of Minority Affairs. This ministry is accountable and responsible to promote and preserve of linguistic minorities groups and people. Also, the state governments and the union territories administrations were urged to accord priority to the implementation of the scheme of safeguard for linguistic minorities. How these people, this minority people, the group in minority, with regards to language, can be protected, can be preserved, and how the language can be promoted. All these are the fundamental objective and functions of the officer. Again, the commissioner launched a 10-point program to lend fresh impetus government efforts towards the prevention of language and culture of linguistic minority. Functions and objectives. In more details, the functions and the objectives of commissioner are many. So let us discuss one by one. The commissioner is there to investigate all matters related to safeguards and provided to the linguistic minority. First, it will protect the language of the people. Then the commissioner is there to submit to the President of India a report, as we have already discussed, on the status of implementation of the constitutional and nationally agreed safeguard for the linguistic minorities. I mean, what has been taken care to protect, to promote these linguistic minorities, and a report is prepared and that report is presented to the President of India. The commissioner also monitors the implementation or application of safeguard and the protection through the questionnaires. He visits personally through conferences, through seminars, through meetings, through review from the mechanism. So through various techniques, the commissioner monitors, he also protects, and he visits personally through conferences, seminars, meetings, and review. He promotes and protects the linguistic minorities. Now we will see what is the objective of this linguistic minorities officer. The objective is to provide equal opportunities to the linguistic minorities for inclusion, inclusive development, and national integration. National integration, as we know, that it is a very strong correlation among all, and through linguistic minorities, how the national integration can be promoted. That is the objective of linguistic minorities. Also, the special officer for linguistic minorities is there to spread awareness amongst the linguistic minorities about the safeguard available to them. Means what kind of provisions are there in the constitution to protect, to promote, to safeguard these linguistic minorities people. This awareness is spreaded by the special officer or the commissioner for linguistic minorities. Also, it is there to ensure effective implementation of safeguards provided for the linguistic minorities in the constitution and other safeguards which are agreed by the states and union territories. Also, the commissioner is there to handle the representations for redress of grievance related to safeguard of linguistic minorities. If the commissioner gets any complaint, then that grievance or that problem, that complaint is solved or investigated by the commissioner for linguistic minorities.